Hi guys, welcome to mini lesson number 6. Now in today's topic, I'm going to talk about what to do in situations when you mess up a trick. And there are 3 major instances where you can make a mistake. The first instance is when you're shuffling the cards, you lose control over the card due to a mistake or an accident. Now the second instance when you can mess up is when you're performing a move, you accidentally make a mistake and flash, and so the spectators see that you have done something sneaky, or you assume that they have, although they might not have catched that. Now the third instance when you can make a mistake is when you accidentally reveal the wrong card during the climax. And so you're going to have to develop another climax and make an alternative to kind of make up for that little accident that you made. And so those are the 3 major instances where you can mess up. And so I'm going to divide this video into 3 little segments, and let's get started right away. So let's talk about the first instance when you can accidentally mess up. Now, as I've said before, this is the case when you're shuffling the cards and you lose control over the spectator's card. Now, there are 2 methods I'm going to teach you, and the first method uses the classic force. Now, unfortunately, this method is not a surefire 100% method that you can get away with when you do make a mistake in shuffling the cards. However, the second method is, so we'll talk about that later on. Now, the classic force, for those of you who don't know it, I'll put a reference or 2 in the video description box so you can refer back to that, and you can learn it from the resource and come back. Now, for those of you who do know it, let's talk about it right now. Now, as you may know, the classic force is done under the guise of a nice spread, and so it looks really fair in the selection process. Now, if you do the classic force this way, even if you don't need to force the card in the first place during the selection process, then once they choose that, you know what the card is. So even if you do mess up while you're shuffling the cards and you lose it somewhere into the middle, you can kind of get away with it by doing a simple mind reading trick. Now, even if the classic force doesn't work in the selection process, that's fine, because as I've said before, you're probably going to be doing tricks where you don't need to force a card in the first place. It can be a random selection. And so at this point, just hopefully you won't mess up and you can get away with it. Now, the third reason you should be using this is because you'll get really nice practice of doing the force. The classic force is probably one of the strongest forces you can ever do because of its fairness. But the better thing about this is that you're under no pressure to succeed. You can get away with it without succeeding or with succeeding, so it doesn't really matter. So that's a good reason for you to use it. Now, the second method. The second method actually uses a duplicate card of the same color back. Now, in this case, I have a 4 of diamonds. And in cases you don't have a duplicate card ready, it doesn't matter. You can just simply take a random card from the deck and put it inside your pocket and ready it that way. So, but I do recommend that you do have a duplicate card because you can use this duplicate later on within other tricks, and so it'll be better for you. And it also has another advantage I'll talk about very soon. So let's say you have a card, you're going to prepare it in your pocket beforehand before you approach the spectator. If you don't have a duplicate, just take out a random card and do that. Now, once you're ready, let's say you mess up the shuffling process and now you don't know where or what the card is. At this point, you're just going to stop shuffling and then just stare at the spectator's eyes for a few seconds and say, you know what, let's try something a little different. Could you go ahead and try to imagine your card? Picture the card that you're thinking of. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but try and send that image to me telepathically. And really do it seriously, because it really does work. And then you're just going to stare into their eyes for a few seconds and then say, watch. Do you see that happen? Yeah, you can do that kind of a snap, or you can do other showmanship. But in the end, what you want to do is slowly reach into your pocket and take out one card, which is that card, a duplicate, or the random card that you have in your pocket. And then make sure that the back is facing towards them. Hold it out like this and say, this is your card. What's the card that you're thinking of? Now, because if you do have a duplicate, there's a chance that you might actually, or they might actually select the 4 of diamonds within the deck. If they do that, then perfect, you have an amazing mind reading trick and you can end it there. Now, but however, there's a good chance they won't be choosing the duplicate card, or you might not even have a duplicate ready. At this point, let's say they chose the Jack of Diamonds. You can simply say, watch, not only have I found your Jack of Diamonds, but I changed it into the 4 of Diamonds. I'm amazing, thank you. You take a bow, and obviously everybody knows this is a joke. And you can get away with this really easily by coming up with all kinds of excuses. For example, you can simply say, I was just warming up, or I didn't want you guys to be too tense, so I kind of put in a little gag. And those are some examples, and you can just use other patterns that you want that really matches your style. And so that's the second method. This is really practical and it's really easy. And so there's no pressure for you in that point. So that's it. I hope hopefully that was helpful to you. And next time I'll talk about the second instance where you can mess up, which is during the actual process of doing a move and you mess up at that point. Now, those points are really, it sucks to be there. So let's talk about that later on. I'll see you guys later.